The ultimate goal of NASA is to find signs of life out in the universe. We've sent various messages out into the cosmos, with one of the most well-known ones being that of the Voyager Golden Records. President Jimmy Carter said the following: "This is a present from our small distant world, a token of our sounds, our signs, our images, our music, our thoughts and our feelings. We are attempting to survive our time so we may live into yours." NASA continued with the following on their website: "A golden phonograph record was attached to each of the Voyager spacecraft. One of the purposes was to send a message to extraterrestrials, who might find the spacecraft as the spacecraft journeyed through interstellar space. In addition to pictures and music and sounds from Earth, greetings in 55 languages were included." NASA asked Dr. Carl Sagan of Cornell University to assemble a greeting, and gave him the freedom to choose the format and what would be included. End quote. There's some articles going around social media at the moment saying that a NASA satellite has received an SOS message from a distant galaxy. Although the space agency has said this isn't true, they've admitted that we have received some strange signals from the cosmos, some of which haven't been that far from us. Although NASA and other space agencies have said that we've never made contact with an advanced species, there's some who've been a little more open-minded. Scientists, for example, have admitted that fast radio bursts are somewhat of a mystery, saying that an FRB is a radio pulse of a length that only lasts for a few milliseconds, but as of right now the astrophysical process is not yet understood. Something somewhere out in the deep vastness of space is some strange, anomalous, mysterious object that continues to throw out extremely large blasts of radio waves out from around it in all directions, travelling at the speed of light. Fast radio bursts, referred to as FRBs, have always been a mystery for astronomers and scientists in the field trying to understand the strange nature of the cosmos, but this new finding might help to shed light onto what might be causing these strange signals. When astronomers turned their attention to the possible source of these fast radio bursts, they discovered an area with an extremely strong magnetic field, ultimately suggesting that these FRBs come from an unexplainable object that exists in a very intense galactic environment, containing an extremely strong magnetic source. Scientists are still trying to understand what could be causing this extreme magnetic source, and not many theories have arisen since its discovery back in January of 2018. The lead researcher on the matter, Emily Petrov, working out of the Netherlands Institute for Radio Astronomy, claimed that researchers are directly probing the local environment of a source in a distant galaxy, said to be responsible for this matter more than 3.8 billion light-years away. Recently, scientists have come forward and announced that a mysterious radio signal has caught their attention. This is because the signal has made itself known for the 5th year in a row. What's so mysterious about these signals is that usually we're not able to track them, but the team behind this study have managed to track this signal to a spiral galaxy. This galaxy in question is said to be 495 to 505 million light-years from our planet, and that it's most likely linked to the mysterious fast radio bursts that have confused researchers for years. One of the astronomers who was working on the case said the following about the signal's discovery: "This object's location is radically different from not only that of the previously located repeating fast radio bursts, but also all previously studied fast radio bursts. This blurs the difference between repeating and non-repeating fast radio bursts. It may be that FRBs are produced in a large zoo of locations across the universe, and just require some specific conditions to be visible. This has caused some people to put forward the idea that these signals are being sent out by other civilizations. Although this sounds like an out there theory, this is very possible, with scientists even coming forward and saying that it can't be ruled out. One of these that's confused scientists is that of FRB 121102. This fast radio burst did not seem to match the FRBs of previously pulsar data collection, leading many to believe that the strange anomaly was actually that of an extraterrestrial civilization. This FRB is known as FRB 121102, and despite being more than 3 billion light years away, has consistently sent out more than 15 steady FRBs towards our planet. Currently, the SETI project is working to detect the next radio burst to try and decipher if it has an alien meaning, as previous data shows that it's far too consistent and repetitive to be a standard pulsar. Interestingly, most of these signals have only been a one-off, but this one keeps trying to make itself known, and researchers are aware that it could be trying to get our attention. One of these signals was tracked by the Charmy experiment in Canada. Researchers here have managed to pick up on 8 new fast radio bursts. A worldwide team discovered 4 more fast radio bursts, and was able to track them to a spiral galaxy called SDSSJ 015800.28 plus 654530. Incredibly, one of these fast radio bursts was over 3 billion light years away. To put that into perspective, our galaxy is 100,000 light years in diameter. Asgardia is the first ever space nation, and they've been very vocal about the direction they want to take humanity. Their website reads as follows: "Welcome to Asgardia, the first ever space nation, a full-fledged nation, with a constitution, a flag and anthem, embassies, currency and sovereign territory. As a new nation and a future member of the United Nations, Asgardia is accepting new residents." End quote. So what does this all mean? Those in control of Asgardia have said they want good things to happen, namely taking humans into space. At this moment in time they are a micronation, though note that they've launched a satellite into orbit, and hope that within the next few decades they will be travelling among the stars. Those who are part of the group often refer to themselves as Asgardians, and declare sovereignty over this space occupied by Asgardia 1, which is the name of the satellite that they sent into orbit. They hope to set up permanent living quarters on the moon by the year 2043. Dr. Igor Asher-Burley, founder of Asgardia, revealed earlier this year that he plans to build and supply a new module for the International Space Station, hoping that this endeavour would extend the capacity and value of the space station. Dr. Igor said the following: "To directly address this, Asgardia has proposed the provision of an Asgardian node module that would be integrated into the European part of the International Space Station. It addresses the current limitations in habitable volume and research capabilities, incorporating the much-needed additional docking ports, which would be made available to both agency and commercial customers." End quote. One thing the group has been vocal about is that of solar storms, and the damage they can do to Earth, which is why they've been vocal about the fact that we need to start moving to other nearby planets and moons, noting that our moon would be a great settlement for humans. Members of Asgardia said the following: "They pose a serious threat to Earth, even without the technological infrastructure of the modern age. The growth of highly sensitive and space-dependent electronic grids, signals and networks makes the task of defending the planet from the unpredictable effects of the sun more urgent than ever. Asgardia is committed, as a community of citizens of more than 200 countries, to investing in public and scientific affairs, to researching and preparing appropriate defense mechanisms to tackle superstorms, and caring equally about all humanity as well as its citizens. Asgardia intends to build free settlements in outer space." End quote. Solar storms in the Earth's upper atmosphere are triggered by massive amounts of energy from the sun. If one of these storms is particularly powerful, it will take out entire power networks across our planet. What's worrying about this is researchers have said we're not nearly ready for an event like this, and that it would cause chaos across the entire planet. Experts estimate that if a large enough solar event was to strike Earth, it would cause over £2.3 trillion or $3 trillion worth in damage. Scientists have said that the Sun produced one of its most powerful flares back in 2017, and this told them that the Sun was waking up and becoming more active. When the Sun throws out these flares, they can have effects on satellites and other pieces of equipment. Researchers and scientists said that back on the 29th of May, a solar flare came from one of these spots, and although this one wasn't massive, the team studying the spot said that it still sent out harmful radiation into the atmosphere. The researchers labelled this one as an M class, which in turn of solar flares is in the middle when it comes to solar strength. The team did say though that this could be a sign that the Sun is becoming more active, and that more powerful solar flares could be coming our way, noting that the Sun goes through cycles, and it's important that scientists understand when the Sun is throwing out these flares, as they can affect our communications. Asgardia is an idea that came from billionaire Russian computer scientist Dr. Igor, who has revealed that over 500,000 people have applied to become citizens of the first space nation. Dr. Igor said the following: Asgardia 1 will mark the beginning of a new space era, taking our citizens into space in virtual form. Asgardia 1 will contain data stored for free for up to 1.5 million Asgardians, and this will be on board the satellite. These are historic days, and your names and data will forever stay in the memory of the new space humanity, as they will be reinstalled on every new Asgardia satellite we launch. Asgardia 1 is our first small step which we hope will lead to a giant leap forward for mankind. Members of Asgardia also said that their decisions will be made outside of Earth's politics, and notes that due to this it will allow them to move forward much faster. Some people have been vocal about how this will work, with one person saying the following: I like the idea of this, but how will this play out in the real world? On paper it sounds great, but you still need people to make the ultimate decision of who goes to the moon and who stays on Earth. How do you make that decision? I can see this causing problems. Anything where anyone is ultimately in charge is always going to receive criticism. I still think it's an interesting concept though. While another person said this: I don't think it's as easy as just heading out into space. It's one of the hardest places to explore, and costs companies hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't think that a company can just announce that they and 500,000 people are going to head into space. I don't think it works like that. What's 500,000 people going to do once they're there? Who's going to pay for their living quarters? Who's going to pay for their food and drink? And who's going to pay for their transport there and back? I just don't think that a mission of this magnitude is going to happen anytime soon. It would cost trillions of dollars. End quote. NASA has been at the forefront of space exploration. The company has made countless discoveries in recent years, helping scientists to uncover some of the secrets of our universe. NASA has been open about the fact that there's hundreds of billions of planets within the Milky Way galaxy alone, with NASA experts saying that that number may be even higher, which greatly increases the chances of there being life on other planets. NASA have said that they don't deny the possibility of there being life elsewhere in the universe, but have said that they've never seen anything in current data and photographs that would suggest that life is close by. Interestingly, former NASA employees have gone against these claims, saying that the space agency often photographs strange things above our planet, and that they've known about these strange crafts for many years now. To back up their claims, these former workers have said that they've got photographs with strange objects in them, and have told people to watch things like the International Space Station live cameras, telling people to pay attention to what happens when one of these objects comes into view. These workers are referring to the fact that whenever a strange object is detected by the International Space Station, the cameras seemingly go offline, with believers saying that this isn't an isolated incident, and that whenever one of these objects is detected, the cameras always shut down, leading some to say that NASA is actively trying to hide these mysterious crafts. It's important to note though that NASA has said that these objects are not crafts, and that these cameras just so happen to shut off when these pieces of debris are detected, saying that this is a coincidence. Back in 2017, former NASA astronomer Marian Rudnick detailed his encounter with 4 mysterious crafts, saying that he was sitting in a diner and saw 4 crafts break through the cloud line. As he got outside, he managed to take some photographs and then sent them off to get authenticated. The United States Air Force replied and said that the photographs were genuine, and that 4 strange objects had been in the sky that day. One interesting story which involves the dark side of the moon is that of Carl Wolf. Former US Air Force Sergeant Carl Wolf is perhaps best known for saying that he saw photographs of a base on the moon. Carl worked at Tactical Air Command at Langley Air Force Base in Virginia during the 1960s, and is thought to have been involved in projects that were classified. He was recently involved in a bike crash from which he didn't survive. Carl had made the extraordinary claims back in 2001, and stated that the photographs he saw proved that extraterrestrial structures were on the far side of the moon. Going back, he worked as a photographic surveillance technician. This meant that he worked with the machines that process video footage. He claims, however, that on one particular occasion, he was asked to review some images. When he looked, he could see that they were taken during a recent lunar mission. While there, another employee asked him to take a look at another photograph. These were the ones that showed a mysterious base on the moon. Carl said the following about the incident. He pulled out one of these mosaics and showed this base which had geometric shapes. There were towers, there were spherical buildings, and there were very tall towers and things that looked somewhat like radar dishes, but they were very large structures. End quote. After seeing these photographs, he thought that the discovery was going to make it to the news. However, he soon realized that the news never broke. He then thought that the discovery must have been covered up. Wolf said that on one occasion he was taken into a dark room where they put together images to create mosaics. He said the following. They were doing 35mm strips of film at the time, which were then assembled into 18.5 by 11 mosaics. Those strips were from successive passes around the moon, and they would build up a photograph. We walked over to one side of the lab and he said, "By the way, we've discovered a base on the back side of the moon." At that point I became terrified, thinking to myself that if anybody walks in the room I know we'd be in jeopardy, because he's given me information he shouldn't. Then he pulled out one of these mosaics and showed me this base which had geometric shapes. End quote. As mentioned, these comments were picked up by news outlets a few years back, and it was announced that not long after he passed away after being involved in a bike crash. Another person who came forward with their testimony was Dr. Ken Johnson, who was a consultant and was employed by NASA, working in the Lunar Receiving Laboratory in 1971. He details that one important part of his job was to package and ship lunar samples to science labs. While working at NASA though, he details that he witnessed NASA photo technicians painting over mysterious anomalies, adding that some of these were mysterious flying objects that had been captured during Apollo missions. He said that he witnessed these anomalies firsthand, and that it wasn't just unidentified objects that were being edited, but other strange anomalies that had been captured on the moon were also erased. According to former NASA engineer James Oberg, he said that people shouldn't believe in these stories, and that NASA and astronomers can explain the majority of these cases. He said the following. Our human senses are so used to focusing on relatively slow-moving objects, as well as certain light and atmosphere conditions, that when things change our brains get confused. Our sensory system is functioning absolutely perfectly for Earth conditions, but we're still a local civilization. Moving beyond our neighborhood has been visually confusing. I've had enough experience with real spaceflight to realize that what's being seen in many videos is nothing beyond the norm. from fully mundane phenomena occurring in unearthly settings." End quote. So what do you make of these interesting stories? And do you think that there's life elsewhere in the universe? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.